It's a pleasure to start again this week, a new webinar, a new volume of this series. That's going to be about, sorry, people are joining again. So that's going to be about self-leadership once again. And we have the pleasure and privilege to have Saska as a keynote speaker. Most of you met her in Copenhagen, but we will have some new touch and new insights. So as you know, SWinG is all about opening door for more women and to enter the changing room, meaning the boardroom where we can bring on change. And Saska is gonna speak about as an echo to the presentation from last week from Mariska, who was asking who you are. Saska will provide some kind of answer, and it's actually a belief that we all share, and that's the reason why you were selected as mentee, that you are a change maker. And Saska is the president of the sport club Partizan Skofja Loka. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. But she also has an extreme and extensive records of leading projects for ISKA and for other organizations before, such as Special Olympics. If you ask me who is Saska, she is a mentor for whoever she is meeting. People are looking at her as an experienced leader. And she is also a partner of the SWinG project. That's our pleasure. And definitely one of the reasons why she's here. And it's because she is someone who has the will to share information and insights, and not only the will, but the knowledge. So I'm gonna give you the floor, Saska, whenever you need me to give the floor to others or to squeeze, just do it. But again, on behalf of everyone, thanks for being here and thanks for your time.
Thank you, Carole. That was really nice and very kind introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. It is an honor to be with you today. Thanks to all mentees, and I also understand that there are not just mentees today with us. So thank you for joining this online meeting. This is actually the online version of all our meetings, and getting together. Online version is now the reality. It's a little bit different, and especially thank you for taking time for joining this in this special situation we are facing, all of us now across the world. I hope that you are all well, that you are all healthy and active at the same time at home or around your home. I'm also at home since 28th of February. This is my office. This is my home office in Slovenia. So again, maybe a little bit about me. As Carole mentioned, I am a president of the local club in Slovenia, and that is actually the biggest sport for our club in Slovenia. Well, I could even say the best. But at the same time, and this is my volunteering position as a leader of the club, but at the same time, I'm working as a head of projects in International Sport and Cultural Association. And this is international umbrella that is based in Copenhagen. So I'm sitting in Slovenia now, but working with my colleagues in Copenhagen, actually, well, with 15 of my colleagues that are sitting now in 8 different countries, because we are all working from home, but some are also international staff in, but sitting in Copenhagen. So sport was or is my passion almost 54 years now, and I'm so happy that I had passed this passion also to my kids. Well, they are not kids anymore, but that I passed this passion to sport to my family, but not just to the people around me, like my family, but also to the citizens in the city where I live, with I mean, with the activities that our club is organizing and with the activities that I'm doing as the president of a club. So, but this webinar actually is not about me. It is about all of us. It is about the change makers. So the topic today is, the main topic is, who is a change maker? I would just like, I don't have a definition. I would just like to share with you some of my thoughts, some of my experience, some of my learnings from so many years of experience in working in a local club, being a trainer so many years ago, and leading different local, international projects. So these are really just my thoughts that I would like to share with you. So I believe that the change maker is somebody, is someone, is you, who is taking creative action to solve a social problem. Well, it's not just solving the problem, but it's also developing a more inclusive and more fair, sustainable communication, more fair, sustainable, inclusive community where we are living. It can be, the change maker can be me and you, as mentioned before. It can be a person, individual person, but can also be, or it is also an organization that we are working in, or we are working for, or you are trying to or will be in the future part of the organization. So everybody can be a change maker, or everybody is a change maker. I believe that I'm a change maker and you are, but not alone, but just with the people around us. We don't need to be, how we call this, a Nobel Prize winner if we want to be a change maker. When we are in a need, when we are in a special situation, when we see a problem or we see a need, then we often create solutions, and we often create very fast and very effective solutions. It is in the situation, it's very clear in the situation we are facing right now with the corona, that I'm surprised to see how many creative solutions, how many creative actually people are around us and how many solutions or innovative ideas sports sector and other sectors as well have found in last few months, weeks, all over the world. I am privileged working in an international field, and I can talk with a lot of, or many partners around the world about this COVID-19, about the situation they are facing now. I'm talking with partners in China, in Australia, in USA, in Europe, in many countries. And I'm really surprised that how actually we are, how creative we are, how we are innovative in this situation, and how we are thinking about creating the future, or the bright future. How we see that okay, we are now in the situation, and what is the future, where we are heading. And I believe that there will be many changes. There will be a lot of smart, innovative solutions, especially in education, in medical sector, in IT industry, that we are seeing now, in sport as well. But we are, I think, me, also some of my colleagues and friends, we are discussing a lot about how we call this, the future normal life. So what will be the normal life after the situation we are facing now? What changes we need to do in our life? What changes we need to do in our communities? And I just talked with one of my dear colleagues this morning, and she told me about the change her mother made just last few weeks because of the COVID at home, and how she actually decided to do some changes right now that she could do 5 months ago or 5 years, but she didn't. But now actually she did. Not that she was pushed, but it was just like, I need to do something. And that's actually what drives us. We see a problem, we see that there is a need, that someone needs help, and then we just do it. And of course, we do it for ourselves, but we also do it for our community. I have some principles, or some key, I could say, some key words or key principles that I think that all change makers are following. And I would, yeah, okay. I would like to share those keywords or key principles with you. It's not, these are not just given. I mean, the principles that I cannot say that this is some kind of official description. It's just something that I feel I want to share with you. And this is what I have in my mind, or actually on my screen, or in my office all the time. And the first one is knowing yourself. That's what I think is the key element of being a successful change maker in our life. But because when we know ourselves, then we also know others, or we are willing to explore the world around us, and we start asking, and we are knowing people that are around us, and we recognize the needs, we recognize what our community actually would like to or needs, and then we are facing the situation where we can step into the change maker process and understand what we can do, not alone as a change maker, but with others around us and in a team. Of course, trust and respect. These are the key elements in our life, professional and personal life. So I don't think that I need to go deeper into these two keywords, but it is definitely important that what is how we trust our team, how we trust ourselves, of course, but also in the community, and that we respect each other, we respect different kind of communication, we respect the different kind of working style. We try to understand, even if we don't understand all the time, or we don't know, even if we don't agree all the time, we at least try to understand and respect that we have different approach to life, we have different approach to the change making process, and then and then actually people are just getting together and the magic happens. Of course, we need to have a courage, otherwise nothing happens. For me, it is important to share somehow the courage. That means ideas and everything what we have, but at the same time also courage to share our doubts, our fears, and ask for help. Because then, as I mentioned before, the magic happens when we understand each other, we know each other better, and understand what are the needs out there and what are the doubts we have, and then we can help each other. Yeah. Then, of course, the change makers are curious. We want to ask questions. I ask you, I did several times by now, and I'm asking questions all the time. Why are you thinking like this? How you would like, or how would you like to do something, and what actually you need, or what are you thinking? So those questions, questions why, how, and what are the most important when we want to learn about each other and being curious about each other. For me, asking questions like what, how, and why, it also means that I'm interested in you, that I would like to know more about you. And I'm always happy when I get these kind of questions back, when people are asking me about my opinion and about my thinking. That just goes, how we call this, both sides. Yeah. Then the next principle, if I can call that principle, is also building the right connection, a strong connection. We are doing this by, or I'm doing this by listening very carefully. I'm doing this by helping other people, assisting, advising, finding the right ways for, how can I say, the right ways to superpower a teamwork or a club work or organizational work or the work of all of us. The position, my position as a president of local club, is to bring people together, is to help them to set common goals, to understand the common goals, and then the change makers, all of us, come, or the others come to the path that will bring us to these goals, or will bring us to the brighter future. And then the action actually happens. But it is that someone needs to take a lead. Sometimes it's not just one person, sometimes there are many. Or sometimes, as I said before, magic happens and more people are just coming together and push the train forward. So it's very different, different situations, or there are different paths. But it's very, very important for me and for my team. Is very important to be flexible in professional and, of course, in personal life. Flexible means in discussing, when we are planning something, when we are discussing something, when we are starting implementing something like the change we would like to see, and always reflect and take time for reflection, take time to stop and say, are we on the right way? Do we need to change something? Monitor and evaluate everything what we are doing. And also not to be afraid of making mistakes, or how we call this, I don't find the word in English, recognize the mistakes and then find the new ways to go further. Sometimes it also happens that someone steal our ideas, and that's okay. That just means that the ideas are that the ideas are good. It doesn't matter actually who's doing the changes, who's using the ideas to make changes in our life or in the life of communities. It's important that the changes are made. Then it's, of course, very important that we are, as leaders or change makers, positive, that we have this positive attitude, positive approach to everything. We need to talk about problems. We need to talk about challenges we see. We need to understand them. But I like the moment, the moment when in a team we discuss about something, what needs to be changed or needs to be done. And then we discuss what are the risks, what are the challenges, what are the problems we see. And then the moment when we switch into this is the solution, or let's talk about the solutions, we see it. That is the happiest moment, probably in or I can say in our thinking, or in the projects, or in just in everything what we are doing. And I must say, I see so many change makers around me, so many, especially now in this situation of COVID-19. Thank you. I would like, thank you, Carole. You are reading my minds, I think, and changing the slides. Thank you. So, What I believe in. It can maybe sound strange, but I can mention first that I do believe in hard work. I do believe in teamwork. But I also believe in homework. And it sounds maybe funny, but if someone, for example, sent to me an invitation with to the meeting with attachments and homework to read something, someone sent me an agenda for being prepared for the meeting, and someone sent me a question and asked for my help, I do believe I see that the person is in a need and need my contribution, need my opinion, need my help. So I just need to give the feedback. And I mentioned this because I do see, and I do face from time to time the meetings when people are coming to the meeting not prepared, and that's okay because, well, actually it's not okay. Otherwise I wouldn't mention, but there must be different reasons behind not having enough time, having some personal or professional problems, and then you cannot focus on the homework, on the preparation to the meeting. But I do believe that if we think about the other person on the other side that asks us to do something, that asks us for help and has a need for our contribution, that's if we do think about the person, then it's much easier, not easier, but then we just react, and we do react, and we need to react. Yeah. I also think that by a hard work and the hard work and teamwork and homework, if I can mention again, make changes in our life and in life of people around us and in a club and in the organization. But I also think that the feeling of, when working with people, the feeling of belonging, when the fact that we belong, that also brings changes and help people thinking like, okay, I belong in this community. I feel so good, so I can or I need to contribute. Yeah, so I do believe that that belonging to the community is the power of change or power of changes. It's not just me, it's not just you, but it's all of us. And then the last one here, that it's not on the slide, I think, yeah, it's not on the slide, is that that I do believe that mistakes are also good. We learn a lot from them, but we don't want that they control us. So we need to, if we do mistakes, we need to recognize them, monitor them, then understand what we actually learn from them. They make us sad or nervous. That's okay. But at the same time, they also push us a little bit, like into the finding something new or into the discussion, more deep discussion with the colleagues or with people around us. Yeah. But that also brings me to thinking that that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be able to do everything perfect. I was very much, when I was younger, under the pressure of being good or being best or being first, probably because I was also involved in the elite sport, and in elite sport everything is higher and faster and better. Not everything, but most. And probably I've got that, I just brought that to my adult, let's say, professional and personal life. And I needed a lot of time to understand that actually it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay not to do everything perfect, and that it's okay to make mistakes. But I also actually know that the leadership that we are learning about is not a license to do less, but it is actually the invitation to do more. Yeah. So I would like Carole to, yep.
Next one?
Next one. Here we are.
Or this one?
No, this one. Thank you. Yeah. We hear very often that we need to be, if we want to be a successful change maker, creative person, we need to step out of the box and take a space for new ideas. Yeah, easy to say, and it's nice if we can step out of the box if possible. But the situation we are facing right now, COVID-19 and other situations, but we are now in the same, all of us in the same situation. That's why I mentioned this. The COVID is actually the box. And this is the only reality we are facing, and the reality we are facing at the moment. And we have limited space, we have limited resources, we cannot travel, we have limited human, financial resources in organizations, we have limited space actually for our members to move, or in local clubs we don't have gyms, we cannot provide a physical activity and so on. So that's a box. We cannot that's a limited space we have, or limited time, or limited resources we have. But we are still a change maker. For a lot of people, or for many people, the freedom and creativity go hand in hand. Of course, it does. They do, freedom and creativity. But if we give to someone a total freedom and like a blank page of paper with a pen, we quite often kill the creativity. So some limitations and boxes are very welcome, and they are very much needed. And the ideas actually are the start of are always the start of the change making process. I mean, the problem, of course, when we face the problem, then we start with bringing the ideas as the change makers. And then it comes the concept. So what do we want to do and how we want to do something? And then there is a change at the end of the, let's say, tunnel, or the end of the process. But I always like that. I always like to talk about this, the boxes, and how to actually be in the box and be creative, or step out the box and be a creative. Where is the difference, and why there is a difference? I would also like to hear maybe some of your thoughts and opinions about it, or maybe even some of your suggestions about this, being in a box or stepping out of the box. But I would like to go to the next slide, Carole, please. Thank you. Again, COVID-19 has changed our normal lives. I mean, normal lives routines. Right now, we are all facing some kind of plan B. If not yet, at least we are thinking. When we are creating or planning our activities, we are planning our club activities, we are planning personal or professional activities, organizations, meetings in the future, in May, in June, and maybe in September. Not in September, it will be in November. So these are all forms of some kind of plan B. We are experiencing many changes at the moment. Some even more, like loss of our loved one, or financial insecurity, or of course, illness as well. And we are facing different approaches to the challenges. And there is no right way or wrong way to navigate these challenges. The important thing is that we just care about ourselves, we care about others, and we do what we feel is right at the moment to do. Many events, or as I mentioned before, meetings and activities were just cancelled or postponed or changed from offline to online. And everything is, that's okay, that's fine. And we are happy if we can actually continue with activities instead of offline, online. But what is the most important is that we're trying, or we are looking for the ways to help each other, to help others. There are a lot of people that are counting on us. There are a lot of people that need our help or advice or just be with us. And that actually, when we face that and when we recognize, we do recognize that gives us the strength, yeah, the power. And then this is the power for and or of change makers. In this situation, actually, we just need to go out. It's not so easy in this situation, but we need to go out and help others. And then that will make real changes in our community or in the life of other people. Yeah. And you see the book also on the screen. I read this book and it fits so nice into the situation where we are now and what we are talking about, being a change maker, making changes or helping others, being creative, being innovative, what will be our future normal life. And that's the book that I also have here in front of me now. And I just would definitely recommend you to read the book. But it's also today is a special day. Actually, it's International, what is the word, Day of Books, or International Book Day, or I don't know how we call this. So that's why I also put this on the screen, because the book is also gives some kind of, at least it gave to me inspiration, and it was very nice reading. A different view on the creativity in innovation. Yeah, very, very interesting. So I do recommend you to read. So I will stop now here, and there is a moment for questions as well, and maybe a takeaway that will come later. But yeah,
Thanks.
I'm all yours.
Thanks a lot, Saska. No surprise for anyone here that you choose a book, also because it's a special day. So that was great that you were available for this day because you love book. I'm reading the chat and waiting for some question from the mentees or the viewers here. Some mentors are here. Mariska is there as well. But meanwhile, I will start with two questions. The first one is when we were preparing, and you have mentioned it as well during your masterclass today, that you have discovered during this special crisis time, and you were surprised by so many change makers that step up and being creative and etc. So I'm wondering how you are taking it to yourself for future, and because you were surprised, what would be your maybe new indicators in your radar of game changer? What is it, the things that you will be maybe looking more into people than you were not before this crisis? That's the first question. I will go to the other one if we have time, but
Yeah.
I think this one is, yeah.
Thank you. I think the overall learning for me is the energy. The really the positive energy that came out from the first, let's say, fear or doubt we had because of the situation all over. But at least what I see talking with my colleagues, or also in ISKA, and talking with my colleagues here in the local club or in local communities, the switch that came, or this from this fear at the beginning, or not knowing what's going on and how we can handle that and how long it will take, and then just suddenly into this positive, like, okay, we are facing this, so what we're gonna do. And that's what we're gonna do was, so it went so fast. At least that's what I see. How, for example, just how fast the physical activity was turned from the indoor to the online, and indoor as well, but I mean indoor in the gyms, or
Yes.
these activities into the online activities, and how well accepted that was. So that's just one example. There were a lot of these kind of examples. For example, I was that's a funny one, but I follow the cooking sessions of one of the three Michelin star cook chef from Italy. I mean, I have never met him. I didn't. Well, I heard about him and the restaurants, few restaurants he has, but I didn't think that someone can actually come online and do these sessions. And it was ta-da-dam, just suddenly was like a magic for me. So how actually people can, from the reality out there, come online and do something that is very, very special. At least that's special for me. But also other things. I see how, for example, people like in our local club in our community, the trainers and volunteers, they went out and they help, or they still help people like elderly people. They provide them food. They go to do the shopping for them. So it was just then some kind of positive, natural flow of finding understanding the need out there, understanding who's helping, who's needing our help, and just step in. So that's what I've got now from this few months of being in this situation.
Okay. Yeah, how fast people shift to solution oriented while they were not before. That's very interesting. Annick just said, it's not a question, but since your first talk in Copenhagen, I try to read more and more. I still have 2 books to finish. They're waiting for me since 6 months. So Annick, grab one of them, because we're gonna take some pictures afterwards. That's my challenge to you. But one question as well, Saska, you were saying that the main learning and what you have learned from this change of our normal life routines is also that we have the power, because we feel a lot of people need our help, and we can see it, and it's empowering and provide a lot of energy. But do you have any tips not to be overwhelmed by this? Because I really heard what you said, and I felt the same, that it's really a need to change, to move for things and to see a solution, but it can be also overwhelming. So I'm just curious to hear if you have any tips. We as game changer, as change makers, we have this power, but how to make sure that this power is not overkilling ourselves?
Yeah. Actually, I would say that it's important, as mentioned before, knowing ourselves, understanding how we feel, and not to be afraid of fears or doubts we have, and then talk with someone, communicate with someone, because it's much easier when you understand that someone else or your friend or your colleague have the same fear or have the same, or feel the same situation, but we are just pushing away like, no, that's not me, or I'm afraid of talking with a coffee machine right now because it's just me and coffee machine at home, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just I think that's, yeah, I would say it's important just to express or say loud, call someone or talk with a friend, and then that's definitely something that is that is important for me. And also, yeah, understand that if others need help, it's also me that have a need, and I also need help. And it happens quite often to change makers or to leaders that it's so easy to help, it's so easy to step towards the others, but then when we need to ask for help, it's like, oh yeah, I will do it, I don't want to bother others. So that's also what we need to learn, or what I learned a lot in many years, that I was the one who didn't ask for help for many years. Oh, I did, but not very like
Not
so
allowed.
yeah, it was more like, I'm here to help you, come on. Yeah, so
Well, thanks a lot. I think at least it's very useful to me, and I'm hoping we're gonna hear from the mentees as well that it is. And it's also very nice that it's echoing with many tips that we heard from Mariska during the first webinar last week. Also, the importance of communication and recognizing our mistakes and making sure that we are in touch more than ever with our tribes or communities and etc. I got one question from Anfisa. She said, do you agree with a metaphorical phrase that different experts are saying these days? Not everyone will be taken to the future. And if you agree, what person should do right now and next month to be taken in the future? And I guess somehow it could be also the challenge that you are giving them, like what they need to be ready for future.
Yeah, I think that we all go to the future. If we think that someone will not go into the future, then we have a problem. It means that we are ready to leave someone behind, and that's not the way. If we see that not everybody can go into the normal life and not everybody can go into the bright future, then it's us who see the bright future. We need to help, and we are in the position to do that. Yeah. And actually that is also can be a challenge for all of us, or for you. And I would like to hear later on in the following days your opinion, or not your opinion, yeah, your way of making changes in your life and life of others in this future normal life. I don't know what it is. Or I know for myself, and I would like to hear from you as well. So where are we going? Will there really be a lot of changes? Maybe, maybe not. And if yes, how we will face that. But for sure, there is a future for everybody. And those who are in a help or in a need, we are there. We need to be there to take them with us. I hope I managed to answer this question. I think it's a good one.
Again, personal sharing, but I think you did really great. Should I move to the takeaway, Saska? Do you have some few words that you would like to share?
Yeah, I would like. I would really like also to, not now because we have limited time, we are in a box of limited resources, but I would like to talk with mentees later on, or I would like to hear from you. I would like to invite you to write me. You have my email address as well, or my phone number. So please do contact me, and I would really like to see or to hear from you what is your, let's say, future, or what are your plans. But again, to my mantra, if I can call this, or take away for you, is again the same what I already shared with you, that the leadership is, it's not the decision, it's also not the position that is somehow given, but it is your choice that it's come from here. So I would like that you again take that with you. Yeah, and then we can communicate in the following weeks and months as well for the rest.
It's an amazing invitation, and I'm actually thinking a lot. I guess we can make a nice SWinG article about how we dream our future together, and sharing is. And the way you wrap up and you answer the question that was raised by Anfisa is just the perfect illustration of the fact that leadership is a choice. We are the one to make choices now more than ever. All of us, it's both personal and collective responsibility and choice. So you just wrap it up the best way that you could. And nothing was prepared for this, but just the best illustration of your mantra was this answer. So ladies, we still have a few minutes, and what I suggest is that we go to the main point and have some discussion and a picture all together with a book. For those of you who can easily reach one. And otherwise, it's going to be your hair book that you're going to hold, but it's going to be the one you're committing to read for yourself, I guess. So let's have this nice picture. Once again, there is the email address of Saska if you want to reach out to her. And you know we are here for you. So